what they are a prime example of is if you strive to be great at what you do and ignore what you don't, you got a real good chance of winning championships.
Yeah. I mean, and I think
they never
was
tried
the thing,
to spread themselves so thin. Like, they never tried to coach all the events. They just coached the crap out of the ones that they got.
Yeah, they had a model. It was distance and jumps. And I remember John McDonald telling me once that he went with the distances because distance runners don't pull hamstrings.
Nope.
I mean,
he told me that. Wrong. He told me, he said, hey, they're safe. They don't pull hamstrings.
He's not wrong. And to Clyde's point, like, my initial battle amongst those three schools was got to be USC because they won so many. I was like, but man, they haven't won a title since I was like 5 or 6.
Hey, I legitimately tried to manipulate the argument so I can get that, so I can say that. Can't do it.
Yeah. It's Arkansas.
Okay, so what do we say for the women then?
Lucius, Lamar went first last time. Go ahead, sir.
On the women's side, it's hard for it not to be LSU. Again, I tried to make it the Baby Bears out in UCLA. I gave some thoughts to a few other places, but at the end of the day, I feel like for a smooth decade and some change, it was a men's winner and LSU.
Again, I chose to completely ignore the cross-country aspect because I felt like that might help. It didn't. Nope. It's LSU. Okay. 11 indoors, 14 outdoors. Indoors, 5 in a row from 93 to 97. Outdoors, 11 in a row from 87 to 97. It's LSU. It's not even close. Like the second team on that list ain't even close to 24. It's not even above 10, I don't think.
Right.
It's LSU.
And I think that, when you talk about the LSU women, like the Arkansas men, they had a model. And this will make Lamar feel better. They did have a thrower every now and then. They definitely had multi-vendors. So that obviously makes Lamar feel a little better. But same thing. They had a model that they coached and recruited to their model, and they got it done. And I think that, like, on the men's side, like, you talk about UCLA. Obviously, like, UCLA is Olympic university. Like, they've had more Olympian than the law allows, right? But when it comes to team titles and NCAA dominance, it's LSU, and it's not even close.
Like to win 11 straight national championships in an outdoor sport is insanity, because sometimes you're not even competing against other teams. Like, just stuff happens. The meet's outside. It could be rain. It doesn't matter.
Well, see, and the thing is, I don't think people understand. At first, it's hard to win one. Right? Let's start right there. And then if you look at it, then to win 2 or then to win 3, then talk about 11. And then, like what Arkansas did, it's just an incredible accomplishment on both sides of the coin. It really is.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, our audience has woken up and they have been typing away. So we appreciate you.
We spurred them.
Yeah.
Right? They basically heard us calling them wussies. So just kidding.
The best thing about this live thing is that the audience gets to see a little bit of behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's no push and pause.
Yeah, it's not like we ever do push pause, right? It's not right? Like we get it at all.
Well, and it's per typical of me. I forgot to push record at the very beginning, right?
Yeah, I noticed that. I wasn't going to call you out until after the show was over, but since you put it out,
at this point, here we go. So we got Cooks on the line, Coach Cooks. Each of you name 1 to 3 of your biggest influencers/mentors. What did you learn from them?
Ooh, you go. That's a solid question, Cooks. I like it.
I know, right?
Well, good. You can go first, Clyde.
I didn't say I liked it like that way, but
okay, can we read the question again, please? Because I want to make sure I don't mess this up.
Yeah. So each of you
make sure I do Coach Cook's,
right? Justice.
Justice.
So Each of you name 1 to 3 of your biggest influencers/mentors. What did you learn from them?
Wow. Well, I mean, when it comes to mentors for me, I mean, when it comes to track and field, start with my high school coach, Ed Stone. Brooks Johnson was a huge mentor and influence on me. But when you talk about influencers for me, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today. Any track and field coach that tells you they're not a thief is a liar, because we're all thieves or we're borrowers or whatever you want to say. So I've had a lot of people influence my career. And the biggest influences in my career were the people that were kicking my butt. They made me work harder. They made me get better. I mean, trust me, John McDonald had a huge influence on my career. He did. People like, hey, the Pat Henrys and the Vince Andersons of the world, and, the people that I'm still dealing with now. So I think that when I talk about mentors, obviously I've got my obvious ones, I talk to anybody about is Brooks and Ed. But when it comes to influences, I mean, I've got people on this panel that have influenced my career. So, yeah.
You said 1 to 3, right?
Correct.
He said 1 to 3, and what did we learn from them?
So I didn't answer the question.
Would you like me to go, Clyde?
Sure. We've done segments on mentors on this show before. I'm not sure if we ever got into the specifics of what we learned from them, which is why I liked that particular question. So for me, in this business, my original mentor, my original influencer is Alonzo Carter. And that was my club coach out in the Bay Area, AC Track Club. Shout out to Zoe. And honestly, I learned, I could sit here for an hour going on about the things that I learned from Zoe, but ultimately I was able to become a college athlete because Zoe sat me down and explained and held my hand through the NCAA qualification process and what that meant and how vital it was. It wasn't good enough that I was eligible to be on my high school teams. He taught me. He was my original teacher of the business of college athletics, and his influence on focusing on how to execute the business part so I could go do what I wanted to do is something that has always stuck with me throughout my career in coaching, because I know if I don't get the business aspect of it right, what I know or how fast I can make kids run ultimately doesn't matter. So, for that, Zoe was a huge influence on my life. After that, obviously, for me, it would be John Smith. I mean, he is the man that won the recruiting battle and brought me, originally down to UCLA. And, you got to understand when you're walking into UCLA, prestigious, huge program in the history of our sport, record books, crazy, Hall of Fame, right by the track. And this legendary individual is not only your coach, but at the time is running the premier professional, group on the planet with HSI. Like, I walked in there in the fall of 1999. Like, HSI was running the track and field world. And so all of this is going on at the same time. You got Maurice out there, you got Inger out there, you got Otto, Larry Wade, like all these, John Drummond, all these people who you've been watching on TV and want to emulate are right there on the track. In some cases, they're your training partners. When you're blessed enough to get an opportunity to run with them, and you're sitting here as a freshman trying to figure out how not to get killed in the NCAA. So what I learned from John is kind of like the mastery of how to juggle it all. He did it effortlessly, and I'm sure there was a ton of effort behind the scenes. But we on the collegiate side of things, we never saw that. John would just walk in, he'd know what he was doing, he'd have his plans in place, and he could just run this crazy circus all at the same time. And I used to stay after practice, or in some cases show up early, just to kind of watch him go through what he did on a daily basis. And I was in awe of that. And so handling the circus, for me, it is something that always stuck with me from John. And then honestly, Vince Anderson, for me was another huge influence on me. Vince handles everything with a level of grace and a level of dignity and a level of professionalism that I've always respected. Even though when I transferred, I didn't choose to go run for him. I chose to go to him directly after graduation because I got to see up close and personal competing in the SEC, just the way that he carried himself and handled his business and the success of his athletes. So those are the people that had the most direct influence on me and what I do for a living.
Well, to only give three, I guess they're pretty obvious for me. My first one was my first college coach, who actually ended up coaching me during half of my pro career as well. He was the first person to actually, I guess, pluck me from the crowd and convince me that I could be an athlete first, meaning like I didn't know there was such a thing as pro track. Let's put it that way. I only wanted to run track to pay for school. And my first college coach, who was at this point now one of my oldest and dearest friends, Noel Rubel, he was the first person to convince me that what I had inside me was actually of value and that there was a career to be had from it. My second one, this would surprise him, but the second biggest influencer I could think of in my life would actually be John Smith. Never coached me. We never worked together, but we always seemed to have brief and meaningful conversations. And this stuck by me when, like, my second year out of school. And I asked John why he charged people to coach them. And he looked me straight in my eyes and he said, people don't value what they get for free. And that had such a meaningful and profound effect on me. And he went on to say, like, that's the reason why when your family and friends want you to get them in the track meets and those things, like, you should convince them that they should pay for it, because that means you are a big deal. He's like, you don't go to football games for free. And I had never thought about track and field in that regard as a profession. And then lastly, and I tried, and I'm not going to lie, I really tried to not do this, but the guy on the panel that's older than me has had
to throw that curveball in there. Yeah, the guy that's older than me.
He's had too profound of an effect on me as a coach, as a mentor, as a big brother, and a friend. I would be disrespectful, honestly, to our relationship to not mention him as somebody who has had a deep and long-lasting and very profound effect on me, almost in all aspects of my life. So I tried, Lucius, I tried, but
appreciate you.
We're authentic if we're nothing else. So
yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So I like this one, and I knew this person would bring the heat.
The heat.
This is a heater.
Okay.
Right now, your seats should be really hot. What is the ideal number of full-time female coaches in a combined staff of 6? And then there's a part 2 to that question. I'll let you go with that one first.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you right now, if I'm ever in the position to be a head coach again, my goal is to have at least 3. I don't know if that's right or wrong, and honestly, I don't really care. But like, that's my goal. This equality issue is important to me. And over the years, I've seen way too many talented female coaches be shunned or be, pushed aside, or not even have the opportunity to interview for a position just because. And I think it's ridiculous. And so, I'm sure I will catch flack and heat for that. My goal, if it's a total of 6 and I'm one of those 6, that means my goal is to have 2 other males and 3 other females. And I want to see that work. I would love to see a staff that looks like that, you know, have a significant impact and have success on the level. Now, Chu, we can see the questions. So should I address the second one or should I let that go?
We'll come back to it.
Got it.
Well, I'll say this. I stuck up these 2 fingers because for my money, I don't know that there's an ideal number, but I know that that's the minimum. And the reason I say I don't know if there's an ideal number, I feel like I would always want to hire the best staff. And I'll be honest with you, there are times in my life where that would have been me and 5 females. There are times in my life where that would have been me, 3 males and 2 females. But I know this, if I was starting a staff right now, there's no chance I would have fewer than 2 under any circumstances. And I think I probably would lean more towards where Clyde is. And I think 3 is probably the right number. But definitely no less than 2.
Read the question again, please, Big League.
What is the ideal number of full-time female coaches in a combined staff of 6?
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure there is an ideal number. I think a lot of it's going to be based on like what kind of a program you're trying to build, and also the skill set of the people you're trying to hire. I don't see a situation where you cannot have a female on staff like these 2 fine young men. I think that if possible, more than 1 makes it work better. But for me, then I need them to be qualified and I need them to be ready to come and bring it, you know? Because I'm not going to hire anybody just because they're a female, but if they're qualified, they can get the job done, I'm all in, you know? So ideal number, I'm not sure what that is, but I do know that you got to have 1. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. Those of you out there that are hiring and you don't think the female can get the job, they think of things we don't think about, guys. Okay? They dot I's and cross T's that will keep you out of trouble. So think about that and give them a chance like you wanted somebody to give you a chance.
Got it. Citing our last show in regards to comments being made, I received a text this week that was hilarious. I had a person who already signed up to be my male distance coach, stopwatch holding, clipboard holding, DO, and he'll even take my tight pants comments. Win.
Yes.
There it is. There it is.
So,
Yes. And the occasional borderline questionable comments about his attire. Absolutely.
I mean, winning already, and I haven't even gotten the job. So anyway, I had to highlight that one. That was a great text message to open up to. So the second part of the second question is do we know of any team that has won an NCAA title with more than 2 full-time female coaches? Can you think of that? I didn't know how to research that, so I didn't.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
No.
Mr. Steele, if you have that
with
answer,
more
you
than
can
how
type that
many?
to us. 2 full-time coaches.
USC? No.
USC.
No.
What is he talking about?
No, USC would have had 2. When the women won, it would have been Carol and Joanna was still on the staff at the time. Or was it was Joanna or was it L'Oreal?
Joanna.
Well, yeah, Joanna was still on the staff, so that's 2. So the question was more than 2.
More than 2.
I don't believe
Come on,
so.
TJ.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, that's TJ trying to argue?
Yes.
That's talking about my
there
bad.
you
Oh, TJ.
Hey, it's definitely your bad because it wasn't ours. So don't,
We are.
TJ's middle name is my bad.
Study the Spade book and come up with another question.
Tyree, we hear you. I hear you. I will commentate.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So let me go backwards because Tyree's asking for my input. I know that the minimum is 2, especially if it's me doing the hiring, right? Because I already take a spot. So if it's not 2, it's going to be 3. I think that it does have to be a balance, and that doesn't mean it has to be an equal balance, but there has to be a balance in ideas. People who can work together and complement each other, not necessarily mesh, is the objective. So, you know, I sit on a really pointed part of the fence because as a female, I feel compelled to be like, I need to hire as many women as I can, blah, 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 blah. I'm empowered to do this. But I do sit where you three sit specifically, but where a lot of the common answers are right now is I want the best able-bodied staff, regardless of gender. So what I will say in consideration to that, though, is the thing that we've been pushing across the board is everybody just needs to be ready. Be ready at all times, right? Whatever that means. You know, if you're ready to be the best jumps coach, the best throws coach, the best multis coach, the best sprint coach, whatever it is, be ready so that any of these 4 tiles, anybody out there hiring doesn't have to wonder if you're ready. If you're the best that you can be at that very moment, and if you're not good enough, you're just not good enough, and that has to be okay. Swallow the pill, get better, be ready for the next time.
Make it hard for them to say no. Make it hard for them to say no.
Exactly. That's the objective at this point. And you know, being in the hiring pools that have been existent over the last 18 months, specifically for myself, that's been my objective going into these hiring pools is make it so hard to say no that when they say no, they feel bad. And, you know, see, there's that pettiness that you think I don't have.
Oh no, it's come across quite a few times lately. I just kept it to myself.
But you know, I'm going to make the job hard for you. So that is where I stand on that part. Got it. So what team or coach always brought out the best out of you as a coach? Maybe your biggest rivalry.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I'll go first. That one's an easy one.
Okay.
When I was at Cal and Edric was at Stanford, and it's funny, it was Vin and then Edric. So that's an easy one. And when I was a student athlete, I hated Stanford. When I became the head coach there, I appeared to hate Stanford, but I actually love Stanford because I knew what we would get from the meet. And it was the one time a year for sure I knew we were a big deal. You know, the big meets is a big deal in the Bay Area, and we kind of take over the Bay Area media for a week. So so for me, that's an easy one. Edric Florial and Ben Lanana.
Oh man. This isn't necessarily an easy one for me, so I'm sorry, you're gonna get more than one answer on this one.
Right.
For me, I look at that question twofold. Who do I really like to compete against out of a level of, you know, respect? And in some cases, who do I really just want to beat? And sometimes it's one and the same, right? And so when I was at Louisiana Tech, it was whoever the hell was at Boise. And
Let's go.
That started out, it was Huff. And then at another point in time, it became Jeff McCauley. And so I'm like, I'm trying to walk in there and beat down Boise because it's Boise and because these people are there, right? When I was at Division II.
It was Jeff before me, though.
Right. I'm sorry. Backwards, yes. When I was at Art U, for me, because I knew our women's program had the opportunity to be national champions, it was all about Lennox Graham at Johnson C. Smith. I have so much respect for that man. And I knew, regardless of what anybody else was talking about, they were going to be ready to go at nationals. And if we weren't, they were easily going to rip that thing away from us. So for me, you know, it was always Lennox. Then when I went to Alabama State, it was like I adopted the teams that Richie Bean was always trying to battle against because this was his program and he knew the rivalries and he understood the SWAC. So I took my direction from Richie. And on the women's side, it was usually Prairie View, and on the men's side, it was usually Jackson State, right? And now I'm at Cal, so it's the whole Pac-10, Pac-12. Like, there's so many talented coaches out here. There's been so much staff changeover. Like, everybody's got high quality, ready to go people and crazy teams. So it's against the whole league now.
Yeah, for me, there's no one answer. You know, I've already addressed the fact the beatings I took from John McDonald that motivated me to get better. As we were ascending towards the top of this thing, you know, all of a sudden, my friends to the north up in the Panhandle got pretty good. So in our effort to be the best team in the nation, we had to be the best team in the state. You know, we had to start there. And then we're in the SEC. So I mean, I've battled Vince Anderson. I've battled Dennis Shaver and Pat Henry and Tim Hall and Edric Flouriel. I mean, it just goes on. Curtis Fry. I mean, just pick a team, right? And, you know, so it just depends on the year. Obviously, you know, now the McDonald's gone. You know, we still have to, we have our classic battles with Chris Bucktham and his crew. On the women's side is Lance Harder. So as time's gone on, I mean, like there's always somebody in our league that you're in a battle with. So there's not one person or one program. You show up for the SEC championships, you better be ready no matter what the year is. So it's just the league as a whole right now.
Ironically,
go ahead.
Oh,
I will say that when Clyde and I were in the WAC, it really was a one-on-one, because nobody else scored in the sprints but us and them.
Nothing at all.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I have two answers for that. And ironically, the person who asked the question is one of them. When we were both in the HAL, the Hayward Area Athletic League, or the WAC now, we were always trying to beat Bishop O'Dowd. So Coach Cooks had our number, and we got him once, and I still to this day think he gave it to us. I think he had the picture in mind. So, but we got the sweatshirt, right? That's all that mattered at that point in time. We had the HAAL champion sweatshirt. Ironically, my kids wear it now, so it's really funny to see it. So, like my actual children that came out of me wear it. So that was who that was, and then I know, sorry. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, Cook said he was pissed.
Cook said he was pissed.
And then the biggest rivalry, and I was brought into it, and it's an existing rivalry that happens for years on end, and I believe it still stands. I'm not sure. I've been out of the NCAC for a few years now. But Ohio Wesleyan, because that was the team to beat when I was at the Division III NCAC conference. You know, being able to come in kind of late in fall training, score at the indoor meet the way that the group that I coached did, and then having that same representation and actually winning outdoor championships, I was like, oh my gosh. So this is what it feels like not even just the winning, the actual competition and going head to head, because I hadn't experienced that to that multitude. So it was Chris at OWU and then Coach Cooks at Bishop O'Dowd. So,
you know, you bring up Coach Cooks, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention this. My favorite rivalry that I've ever been involved with was when I worked with Coach Cooks for 1 year at Skyline, and it was Skyline against the world. And so, literally, our staff meeting before the OAL championship was, how do we make sure that nobody else gets on the bus to go down to the state meet? Like, we literally tried to win every single event so that nobody else went from the league except for Skyline.
Hey, but you know who actually pulled that off, though? McClymonds High School, 1999. Every event. No one went to the state meet but Matt.
Yeah, we missed one.
Oh, goodness.
And
that's why I think he gave it to us. So.
Oh, I can tell you this. I know Coach Cooks very well. He didn't give you anything.
Well.
That dude would
that's
never.
So funny. I just saw what you wrote, Cooks. I was pissed. That's hilarious. Okay, so I am gonna jump over this question real quick, but go into this COVID question, because it is the days that we are living in right now. In this COVID environment, how are you planning your training, not knowing what your season will look like, collegiate and pro? What adjustments are you making, if any?
We've gotten into this, maybe not that specifically, but we've definitely gotten into it. I could tell you from the collegiate perspective, and I said this before, I'm planning for my kids to be ready for the Pac-12 outdoor championships in May, because I'm pretty sure that meet's going to go down. Anything before that is probably a 50-50 toss-up So we are getting ready, for the outdoor championship and the outdoor postseason. And that's the model that makes sense to me, given the limited access that it looks like indoor is going to be out here on the West Coast. That's where we're going with it. And I'm very comfortable with that model.
We're business as usual here in Gainesville. We have the SEC indoor championships on our schedule. And so we're preparing to be ready for that. How we change things? I mean, you have to. I don't know if you guys know, so you get somebody that tests positive for the virus, they get 10 days. If you are in contact with them, you get 14. Fortunately, we haven't had a lot of positive tests, but when you do get one, it kind of scrambles things. So you have to be patient. We talked about that a lot as far as the training model goes. Like, you just can't do everything you've been accustomed to doing. You didn't see them for almost 8 months or whatever it was. So I think the big thing is I've just been very patient, but in terms of what I'm preparing for, we're business as usual. We're ready to have a good indoor season and be better about outdoors as we always are. So my mindset, other than changing a few things in training as far as, like doing things a little bit longer as far as strength and base goes, nothing else has changed. Same thing with the professionals. I've got several people that are planning to run indoors. There's meets that are popping up for them, and the Europeans will find a way to have an indoor circuit. I'm pretty confident in that. So they can jump on the plane and go over there. And I'm not going with them, but they can have some fun.
I do find it interesting. I agree that the indoor circuit somehow, some way is going to get done, but they canceled Indoor Worlds, right? So it's like it's a straight up money grab for the Europeans.
Exactly.
Point.
Right.
Yeah. Because I'm not coaching collegiate track, I think this affords me an opportunity to give a little bit different answer. I work with high school, junior college, 4-year and professional baseball players. And I would say all of them in their own way kind of fall in line with where Lucius is. Be as ready as humanly possible to dominate when you get the opportunity, and assume nothing. So I would say every single one of my guys, and we have conversations almost daily, they are all in the lab, putting in work, preparing for a season that may start in January, may start in February, may start in March, or may not happen until the draft in July. At the end of the day, they are all basically, they got the car in the shop and they're doing work to be ready to go do what they need to get done. Because I think
that's the important part right there. Yeah. You got to be ready. Because like for me anyway, I just don't see a scenario where I'm telling my kids, well, we don't care about indoors. Then we shouldn't run. Like if I don't care about indoors, then we should have an indoor schedule. We're not going to put the uniform on and go run, and Clyde, you're in a different situation. I mean, like,
I want to be clear.
Exactly.
I'd love to do it. I just don't know if we're going to have it.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And then for us, like I said, we have a schedule. The league has a schedule. We have things planned. So we got to be full speed ahead. And I've told my athletes, if we're not ready, I'm not putting you on the bus. We're not going to run just to go run. We're going to go run. We're going to be competitive, and we're going to get some things done. And I personally use this time to help make myself better. I've done more studying, and as you guys know from the late night videos you get sent every now and then, I've been up later in the last 3 months than I have in the last 30 years. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I think you pushed your bedtime back about 3 hours now.
I did.
Right.
Trust me, that's about to come to an end. Don't worry. The lab's about to shut down because I got to get my sleep back. Patterns back.
To wrap this particular thing up, and I know Lucius may not be familiar because we're working on his West Coast music.
I'm getting there though.
We're working on it. But the rest of us will all understand what I'm talking about. It's simple. You quote sugar free. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready.
Well, how do you think I've never heard that?
You know sugar free?
Okay. I've heard the song.
Okay, all right. Hey, all right.
I've heard the song.
We're doing
love it.
And look, see, I need y'all to give me some props because I've been
No.
I've dove in. I dove in. Props. Once a week, I'm on a new one.
That's right.
Yeah.
I will say, so I'm going to highlight this week's. This week's, we got the text to Souls of Mischief, and I was like, yes.
I know.
I don't know how I missed that one.
Love it.
Yeah, oh,
I
that's
mean,
the one. That's the one.
specifically 93 Till Infinity. If you didn't know that, I mean, that's the most
That's the
notorious
one.
song they have. But
Oh, look, that was one I had to put that on repeat for a couple of times. I was like, oh, I like this one a lot.
yeah,
That song is forever fire.
Yeah.
it is. I love it. So we're gonna go a little bit more personal on this question. Outside of the COVID years, so somehow erase the last 10 months out of your mind. How do you manage your life, family, and track while you're highly engaged in the competition seasons, competing seasons? And what did you do to make sure that you did not burn out during the season?
We'll let
Well, you know what? Can I
the
go
elder
first?
statesman go with that. Yeah.
Well, no, I want to go first. I'm gonna throw
Oh.
myself on this one.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. Almost every year I burn out. I don't think it's avoidable, to be honest with you. And I don't know if it's just from the female perspective, specifically being a mom, specifically being a single parent. I don't think it's that hard to believe, even in the COVID year, even though we're supposed to forget about it, I am burnt out already, right? So going in order of the questions, managing it, I don't try to balance it all. And I think this is something that I've talked to a few of mentees that I work with and just people in general, that from day to day, I let things happen, but I recognize also when things need to stop. Because to say that I'm going to go 60, 30, or is that 10? I can't prescript that. I can't prescribe that. Like it just doesn't work, because then I'm going to go over in the 60 and then it's not going to balance out right. And I'm going to get mad at myself and I'm going to get frustrated. So it's just not worth it. I just let the things go. And when I need to stop, I need to stop. The biggest thing that I've heard and that resonates with me is I can't give 100% of my effort if I'm not 100%. So I have to realize that within myself. And that's something that I'm really trying to take ownership out of in this growth process. But with that being said, that's 100% for the student athletes that I work with. That's 100% with my children at home. That's 100% for the people that I do call friends, which is a very small group. So it's not something that's divisible. It's literally everybody gets 100% of me. And that's why in turn, it does sometimes turn into burnout. But that's reality, because I don't think any of us specifically, I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this because I believe this. Successful people strive. We give 100% to everything. So if you give under that, I'm not calling you not successful. You just deem it different. So in knowing that I do give myself to burnout, what I do make sure that happens is that I make sure to keep an open ear, even though I'm not good at it, to those who say, sit the F down, calm down. And I there is some resistance because I don't like to listen to people. But I do. And then I make sure, that he's always telling me to calm down and I never do. But then it's one of those things where I'll sit and crochet for a little while, or I make sure I'm 100% attentive to my son's baseball games, or now my daughter's swim meets, whatnot. So yeah, that's my brutal honesty.
That was funny.
I'm looking at the chat right
That
now.
was funny. That was funny.
I know.
Go ahead, Lucius. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. See, so I'm a different animal, and I don't know what burnout is. Do I get tired? Yeah, I'm human. I get tired. But I wake up the next morning and I just get on the grind. And as far as the balance, I'm gonna, when my son played high school basketball, I left practice, got in the car, went to the high school basketball game. There were days when my son he's running track. Jumped in the car after practice. I drove down a couple hours to the Tampa area and watched him run his regional track meet, and yelled at him and got him to the state meet in the 400. Jumped back in my car, came back to Gainesville, got out of the car, and bowled in the tournament. And that's what I do. I mean, if I'm committed, I'm committed. And so for me, when, and Lamar knows this better than anybody else, I just get up every morning, I work all day long so I get everything done. And then as soon as I stop, I fall asleep. And after about 5 hours, I wake back up and I go back at it again. So I think it's important that, especially for those of you who are married, to listen to your family, because they will tell you what they need from you. And when they tell you what they need, find a way to do it. When my son would say, Dad, I need you to be at the game tonight, I'm there. Then if he would say to me, Dad, don't worry about coming tonight. Okay. That means he didn't want me there for some reason. And I said that. And when my wife says, I need you to do this, or need you to be there, then find a way to be there. So I think that as far as managing family and that balance, you have to, lean on them to tell you what they need from you. But, like Big League said, I give everything and everybody 100%. And I honestly, I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever been burnt out a day in my life. Don't know what it is.
Well, I guess it's pretty easy for me to follow that because it's very similar. As most people at this point in time know, I was a decathlete, so I have
really.
I have been blessed with. I've been
I thought
blessed.
it was synchronized swimming.
Hey, what's that shock? That shock face? Oh my God.
He was all right. I mean, he was decent at it.
You got a ribbon.
He was all right.
I have been blessed with the ability to compartmentalize. And combine that with I don't know if this is an ability, but I really don't sleep very much. I just kind of set the rules from the beginning, and then I like the two before me, I go 100% within the rules. And so, simple rules, right? Recruiting, if you're somebody like me who loves to recruit, recruiting can be everything. So how do you do that? I recruited one night a week, and I recruited the world in that one night. So on Tuesday, because I think it used to be, it was recruiting Tuesday for the most part. Like, I didn't come home till about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's midnight in California, and that's whatever in Hawaii. And it always seemed like I had a kid that was like way off the end. But almost immediately in the beginning of the recruitment, I would get the people I was recruiting used to getting a call from me on Tuesday, so that recruiting wasn't Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It became less sporadic and way more rhythmic. If there was a recruiting call that had to happen on Wednesday, it happened. Or had to happen on Friday, it happened. But they were happenstantial. Recruiting itself happened pretty much one day. So I gave up one to be available for 6. To Lucius's point, I tried to be all the places I was needed to be. I went to as many baseball games as I could. I went to as many daytime kindergarten and first grade performances as humanly possible. I did all those things when asked or when it was humanly possible. But outside of those reins, like, do your job, right? And so, like, we had weightlifting at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was there. And then back at work at a normal hour. And then out at the track all day for, that's usually the case of the guy or female that coaches the field events, which I've done most of my career. And at the end of the day, it all becomes a rhythm, and you do it till you're exhausted for the day, go to sleep, wake up, and do it again. And then I had this one strange rule. Because we have no real recruiting calendar, the years can just blend into each other. And I just made sure that I stopped every year for 2 days. So like there was literally a 2-day gap between one year and the next. So there's 2 days of a year that I didn't work, somewhere in the July 1st range.
So Lamar has many, many skills, and we've all found a way to take each other's arguments or words. And in this case, he took both of my words. Okay. So the rhythm of it is definitely a thing for me. Now, my experience is totally different from my other 3 people here, because I'm the only one without kids. So, for me, the burnout issue, honestly, the only time I've ever felt burnt out in this profession was the 6 months where I actually didn't have a job. I felt completely burnt out during that period, right? And I think that was more about the uncertainty of what was coming next than anything else. But burnout has never been an issue for me. It's never even been a thought. Everything is very much a rhythm. And, you know, for me, the Recruiting Tuesday thing is an actually pretty good idea. I might want to look into that. But like, no, it's been like all day, every day in all aspects of things. I'm the guy that goes in at 6 a.m. because it's convenient for traffic and end up staying in the office till midnight because I got locked into some kind of rhythm of recruiting or locked into a rhythm of paperwork or whatever. So, you know, for me, I'll be turning 40 in 2021. I don't have any kids. I've never been married. And maybe my focus on and my commitment to my career is a part of that. I don't know. Maybe I'll feel differently about it if the day ever comes where I have to be accountable to somebody other than myself for real. I don't know. But what I do know is that the very small group of people who in my life who know I legitimately care about them, who can honestly call themselves my friends, they know that I've always been there for them in a million different ways when they needed me to. So, you know, for me, I think I can manage to do my job, focus the way I need to focus in order to be successful at the level I want to be, and still have time for my family or my work-life balance or whatever that means to us. I think it's different for everybody, but yeah, it's never really been an issue for me.
Got it.
I will say this though, if and when you do get married, make sure you marry one that gets that from the beginning.
Oh, listen, the reason that my social life is the way my social life has been for the last 10 to 15 years is because people don't get that. And I'm the type like, oh, for real? Cool. We're going to just move on to the next thing.
Right.
I'm not going to sweat it. So, like I said, hey, I hear you.
Yes, definitely. So basically they're going to have to come from this world.
Which ain't necessarily a bad thing.
Right. And understand it. So, next question. I like this question again on the personal note, reflecting on our careers. All four of you, tell us about your most significant or meaningful coaching moment that nobody has ever heard about.
Oh, that no one's ever heard about.
Mm-hmm. I can break the silence because this one,
Yeah,
please help us out because I'm struggling.
Right. So it goes back to 2017. I was working with a decathlete. It was at Wabash, and this gentleman was in his senior year, ready to graduate. You know, life was ahead of him. We were finishing it out. He was excited to be getting centralized coaching rather than split coaching and whatnot. We had a great time indoors and outdoors. And, you know, we have a funny story that kicks it off as, hey, coach, don't worry about telling me how to do the pole vault. I got it. Okay, we're out of meat. He says this to me. So fast forward a few months, we're just before graduation, and he pulls me aside and he lets me know that he is going to graduate with his intended major, but he's not going to use his degree. He's actually going to go into coaching because of the influence that I've had on him. And so I was like, oh, okay. And so, you know, I get that, you know, it's not necessarily, I got a championship. I did get the outdoor championship with that too, that team. But that in itself, where I had so much influence on one individual through track and field, and we did have some success, was pretty crazy, you know, and he's getting older now. He's now coaching out in South Dakota, and it's awesome to see what he's doing. And of course, we've grown apart a little bit because there's time between us. And, you know, as we just mentioned, when we're both coaching, there's no time for anything besides that more often than not. So that is my story. I don't know. I honestly think that we are the only, well, maybe as parents, but we're the only two. I probably crushed their soul. Sorry.
I got one that for me. Read the question to me again so I don't want to mess this up.
Tell us about your most significant or meaningful coaching moment that nobody has ever heard about.
Okay. So, you know, this was early in my career as a high school coach, and we're going into the regional into the district championships, and we're in a new district over with the Jacksonville. We got the big Jacksonville schools in there, and where we are is to meet at Orange Park High School, and they're pretty good also. So, we have our pre-meet talk, and we talk about the things we could do to win the meet. And I tell, the team that it's not going to be the first and second places that are going to win the meet. It's going to be the ones beyond that. So fast forward, we finish 1, 2, 5, 6 in the 800, and all 4 of the guys PR, and the guy that got 5th coming into the meet, his PR was 210. He ran 201, and I walked up to him. I gave him a big hug, and I, told him how proud I was of him. And then after the meet, his mother, who didn't quite understand the whole qualifying thing, 'cause only the top 4 went on to the regional meet, said to him, "Did you make it to the next meet?" He goes, "No, but I got a big hug from my coach, and that means more to me than getting to the next meet." And that helped me realize that day the importance of, letting your athletes know how much you care, and that it's more than just about winning and losing. And that guy, that just, man, I had tears in my eyes for like the next 30 minutes. It just crushed me. And I can't remember his last name. His first name was Kedron, but and I want to say his last name was Walcott. That's what sticks in my head. But as you get older, as Chuck Clyde has said like 3 times on the elder statements, that he's throwing jabs at me. But that was a significant moment in my career, because it helped me realize how important it was for me to show everybody in my program how important they were to me, or are to me, I should say.
Well, this is actually quite. This one's quite difficult. This was quite difficult on a live show. We should plan better for that. It was most significant, right? That was the question.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So,
yes, sir.
I don't know if no one knows this story, but very, very, very few people know this story. So, depending on how long you've known me and in what context you've known me, you might know that I had a pretty tumultuous time in my years at South Carolina as it related to the coaching staff, and one specifically, Mr. Curtis Fry, who was my head coach. We didn't necessarily get along when I was an athlete in that program. And years later, when I'm at Louisiana Tech and I am at the junior national meet in Des Moines, me and Coach Fry really hadn't spoken a really long time. And I'll never forget, Vince Anderson asked me to have a conversation with him, and I was like, not trying to hear it at all. And I was like, for you, I'll do it. And I had no idea what he was going to say to me. I didn't imagine that it was going to be anything good or positive. And he came up to me and, in a nutshell, told me that he really respected the man that I had become and the work that I was doing in this profession. And I never believed that he was able to or willing to see the growth in me as a human being or acknowledge the work that I was doing in the profession, because he most definitely didn't have to. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's a legend. He's done more in this sport than I may ever hope to do. And because of our previous relationship, I didn't think that a conversation like that would ever take place. And in the moment, I was trying to reject it in my brain because I was still upset. You know what I mean? But honestly, that was probably the most significant moment that I've had, because it took a lot for him to do that, and it took a lot for me to hear it. And, I will always be grateful to him for that moment. Fast forward a few years later, he interviews me for an assistant on his staff. And again, if you know me, And if you know him, and if you know anything about our time together when I was an athlete, that was impossible. So I appreciate Coach Fry for taking the time to pay attention and see that growth in me and give me that opportunity when it came up, because a lot of people haven't, over the years. Getting interviews are difficult, right? And so that initial conversation in Des Moines, Iowa was probably the most significant one.
I've tried it. I can't give one, so I'm going to give two. I'm the EP, so it's
violation. I'm pulling out the flag.
No. Hey, it's one of each gender.
Hey, behave yourself and give you one and stop it.
Yes, sir.
Man up and make a decision. Come on.
Nope, I won't. The first one was part of my very first group that I was blessed enough to coach at Wake Forest. I had a young man who was a walk-on at Wake Forest who, when he came to college, I'll say again, a young man, his PB in the 400 was 56.45. And by the end of his sophomore year, he ran 54.00 in the 400 hurdles. And I remember he just missed making the final, which that in and of itself is kind of sad. But and I just remember he and I behind the bleachers just having almost like our own little private award ceremony, because he just looks at me, he's like, Coach, I wasn't supposed to be here. Like, I'm not even supposed to be on the team, let alone like in the meet in a uniform and trying to make the final. And I guess for me, that was significant because it was the first time I guess I realized that what I was doing was actually important to other people. Because I had only been a coach for probably about 10 months at the time. The other one is it's just undeniable. I had a young lady when I was at Purdue who our first year together was her redshirt freshman year. And we stood in the basement of Mackey Arena, right outside the women's locker room. And I basically encouraged her to quit. And I encouraged her to quit, not because she wasn't very good, because she wasn't very good, let's be clear. But I encouraged her to quit because I didn't think that she cared enough about the sport to take it seriously. We jump cut to 2.5 years later. She's a first team All-American and school record holder. And we really were, she and I against the world for the better part of about 6 weeks at the end of that season. And I don't know that I'll ever do anything. I don't know if I'll ever go on a journey longer and better with one particular athlete that's any better than that one.
Got it. Last question, and this one's fun. Mr. Steele, you've given us good questions tonight. I like it. In Positive K's I Got a Man, he sings both parts of the duet. Is this the greatest vocal achievement of our time? So I've been singing the song in my head since I read the question. I love it.
Did I say that again?
In Positive
He may not know the song.
I don't know.
Oh, I know. I Got a Man. He sings both parts of the duet. Is this the greatest vocal achievement of our time?
Okay.
I'm going to pull it up.
The look on Lucius's face, he doesn't know the song.
No chance.
Let me just tell you, sir, the answer is no.
Yeah.
It is not.
Okay. And I just want to be thankful. I thought for a second you were going to start singing. And I was like, whoa.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'm sure I could sing better than Special K, but no, that is the answer to the question is absolutely not. However, it is absolutely a classic, iconic, must-know song from that particular era in hip hop music.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it to you. So I love it. It was in 1992.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a quick 30 seconds of it. Hold on.
The video is even better.
The video is hilarious.
Okay. So of course YouTube's giving me a 10-second ad. I apologize.
We can't hear the ad. Just know that however Lucius responds to the song, you have to go find the video on YouTube because the video is brilliant. The video is hip hop Oscar worthy.
Am I close?
There you go.
Sweetie, you're looking kind of pretty. What's a girl like you doing in this rough city? I'm just here trying to hold my own ground. Yeah, I think I like how that sounds. What you say?
I've heard this before. Yeah, I'm good.
Dan Steele, why would that come to your brain? I have no idea.
Yeah, like so
But-
that was a Dan Steele question?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Coach Steele. The
Dan.
answer is no, and clearly the greatest musical and lyrical achievement of our time is Biz Markie. You got what I need.
Yeah,
Listen,
you sound
how many-
just as bad as he
How
does.
many women were referred to as blah 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 after that frigging song came out? What was that? Yo, he's just a friend.
Oh my
Hey.
gosh.
There it is.
Good job, Dan Steele.
Lamar might have swayed me. Any musical achievement in any category, I would always give to Prince, but I might have to give this one. Might have to give this one up.
Listen,
You know,
Biz Markie and Luther Campbell did the most with the least amount of actual talent of any people in music.
It's
oh
true.
my gosh. Oh
Dude,
my
Biz
gosh.
Markie is still relevant in rap culture. Think about that.
Well, his song is. I don't know if he is. His song is.
Oh no.
I mean, the man's tongue was too big for his mouth, had a borderline speech impediment.
Okay, moving on. Big League.
Is someone in the hot seat tonight, Big League?
Yes,
what's
sir.
Oh, that's me,
Yes,
isn't it?
sir. It is.
You know, I'm always ready.
I've never seen you do that, and I love it. I'm going to make you do that all the time. I love it. I love it. Well, I will say before we get into the hot seat and rapid fire, there was a question that I wanted to pose the panel in celebration. We have Christmas coming up next week. So I know, right? Give us, I know, it's if I were Italian, it makes sense, but I'm not at all. What
Hey, Clyde got you.
if you have up to five, let's call it up to five, top 5 Christmas movies.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I forgot
Oh, yeah.
about that.
So we don't have to go all 5 in a row. We can pinball it if we
Hey,
like.
look.
That way
No,
it
no,
gives
no,
you some
no. It's
fun.
way harder if you make us give a 5. Like, are we doing? It's a
Oh,
list,
geez.
right? Like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. Yeesh.
This Christmas, 4 Christmases, the one that's not a Christmas movie,
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
It's not a Christmas
Oh yes,
I
the
just
hell
said
it is.
movie. I just it's not a
Yes, the
Christmas
hell it is.
movie.
I just said it's not a Christmas movie.
No, Clyde keeps saying that it is.
It is. Absolutely.
Die Hard.
It's a Christmas movie.
I'm gonna go with the original Rudolph,
Yes, exactly.
and yeah, the 5th one just stays in rotation. Oh, it'll probably be Polar Express. I really like that movie.
Oh, this is great. We're gonna have such different answers.
Okay, so this Christmas, let's see, the Santa Claus, Frosty the Snowman.
The animated
Rudolph.
one? Or is
Oh,
there a real
absolutely.
one?
Is there a real one? Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph, and you can't have Christmas without the Grinch. It's impossible.
That's funny.
Impossible.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
And you should stick to your day jobs.
Wait, why is this man singing all over the show today?
Exactly. I don't know.
I mean, no
We're
one's asked.
live.
And
No
once
one's
again, I
asked
will
what's in his
say
cup.
thank you, Dan Steele, for getting your boy going.
Okay. I don't know what's wrong with y'all in these selections. Okay, but
We're older than you.
you most definitely are. But some of these things, like you can't be missing you just can't be missing some of these things. So
Okay, this
Well,
can
clearly we can
First
because
of all-
we did. Yeah.
first of all, Home Alone has to be on the list.
Not really.
Home Alone's got to be on the list.
Not really.
There's no way Home Alone's not on the list.
I don't like to see the guy just go. I mean, come on. That's
What is it with you Italians and Home Alone?
TJ said
that's what it is.
boo.
TJ, we've already
Why
established
knows
TJ.
all of the
TJ's
words to
opinion
Home Alone?
of all things means absolutely
Okay.
close to that.
Home Alone.
Okay.
Home Alone.
So Home Alone has to be on the list. Now, it's kind of depends on that. Like for me, I can't even nail it down to 5. But how
if
do
this
we
Christmas isn't on your list, you have to leave the show.
This Christmas, as in the black movie.
I mean, it has black people
There's
in
black
it.
people
Yes.
in it.
No. The best ensemble Christmas movie of a black cast is clearly Best Man Holiday.
No.
Yes, it is.
It's good, but it's not better than This Christmas.
Best Man Holiday had the whole theater in tears, snot bubble tears, the whole time.
But there's no Christmas theme to that.
What are you talking about? The whole movie is about Christmas.
No, it's not. It's about her dying.
Dude, This Christmas has Regina King scantily clad and then whooping somebody's ass with baby oil on the
Okay, hold on a
floor.
second. Clyde is giving
It
us
was
his
nice.
choice.
It was nice. It was nice.
So he likes
Listen.
Home Alone.
Home
Home Alone, absolutely.
Best
absolutely.
Man Holiday, you said?
Best Man Holiday.
Yes, Best Man Holiday. Now, because Lamar already said it, Die Hard is absolutely a Christmas movie. It is absolutely
there, man.
a Christmas movie. But it's absolutely a Christmas movie. I don't see how we say it's not a Christmas movie. It's on every Christmas. The theme was Christmas. Like, it's part of the Christmas collection on every streaming app you could imagine. It is a Christmas movie. It is a fundamental Christmas movie.
Okay.
Now I'm having a meltdown because I just have to be having one right now. Eddie Murphy.
Well, just the fact that you picked those 3 movies tells me you having a meltdown. So.
Wait a minute. Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd. Why am I having?
Oh, Trading Places.
Trading Places. Absolutely a Christmas movie.
Merry New Year!
And an iconic one. And then for me, and I know I'm gonna get booed all across the way.
You got 4 boos already.
Hey, I'm good. So TJ, get ready, because TJ may not even have seen this movie. Love Actually. Love Actually is a fantastic Christmas movie. Fantastic movie.
Love Actually is actually
Of course you haven't seen it, TJ. We know, because you have no culture. None.
Well, I haven't seen it either. I got culture. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you
He
need to go
said
watch
0.
Yeah, get
that.
off
You need
the
to
TV.
watch that. You need to watch that, sir. Love Actually.
Wait,
which
so
one of
hold
the
on.
Fridays is the Christmas one?
Oh my
Friday
goodness.
after next?
No.
Oh, so now that's
Yes.
so now that's a Christmas movie too, right?
No,
Yes.
I just
No,
I
that's
was just trying to remember which one it was.
That's
Okay.
probably Friday after next was that one.
I get it, guys.
TJ
I
probably
totally,
thinks Friday after next is the best Christmas movie.
I totally get it. It's an age difference because a Christmas movie to me should have a Christmas theme, and because somebody's running around a building blowing up stuff, it's not Christmas. Because somebody gets on a plane on a train and goes Merry New Year, that's not Christmas. It's funny, but it's not Christmas.
But it's funny though.
It's funny, but it's not Christmas.
Wait,
So
so
you're more so on the It's a Wonderful Life tip.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
okay, wait. So
Yeah,
no one
look,
mentioned.
I even go. Let's go with Scrooge. That's a Christmas movie. It's
Oh
a
my
Christmas thing.
Nobody mentioned It's a Wonderful Life, and nobody mentioned the one with "No way, kid, you shoot your eye out."
So thank you. No one
I'm
mentioned
saying
Christmas Story.
Bad Santa almost made my
Christmas
list.
Story.
Bad
Okay,
Santa almost
so
made my list.
I'm
Quiet
going-
as kept. Bad Santa is an incredible Christmas movie.
So Christmas Story, Bad Santa, Elf.
Elf is on my list. I'm taking one off. I forgot about Elf. Good call. Good call, Chew.
DJ, what are you booming to? Which one are you booming to?
Yeah, type it.
Go ahead, Big Lee. Elf.
Elf. Elf.
Okay.
I love it. This Christmas, and I won't lie, I was exposed to that by the Huffins, and after that, I was in love. And mainly because who shows up on the screen. And then so I laughed at this one because I did look it up. In regards to what is considered a Christmas movie, Gremlins is considered a Christmas movie.
Gremlins is absolutely a Christmas movie.
It
It
is.
almost made my
I
list.
love Gremlins. Like I make
That's better. That's better than that other stuff you were saying.
so I make reference to the Gremlins all the time. So
Because
that I
okay,
put that in
Home
my-
Alone was released during Christmas, but like, there's nothing Christmassy about Home Alone.
The whole
What are you
premise of the
talking
movie
about?
is Christmas.
The
Not
whole
the,
movie.
the whole premise of the
happens
movie
in
is
3
him
days of
running
Christmas.
around avoiding people breaking into his house. It's not Christmas.
Why? Because his family left him at the crib to go to France for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. But they don't talk about Christmas. They talk
They
about.
were. The whole
He goes
premise
to
of the Robbie
Christmas
sequel was
Mass.
about Christmas.
Okay. Yep. And Eddie Murphy got on the train and said "Merry New Year." There you go. Okay, we're good.
Lord.
Same thing.
Well, TJ gave
So,
me
You
but wait a
young-
minute. But wait a minute.
You
Wait a
young
minute.
people, I tell you.
Wait a minute. Forget all that. I need to point out the hypocrisy. So Die Hard's
Uh-oh.
not a Christmas movie. Die Hard's not a Christmas movie, but little gerbils who morph into something else
Hey, I didn't. Hey.
is
that-
a Christmas
that's
movie.
You.
No, but you co-signed the Gremlins.
No. I did not say it was a Christmas movie. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
disagree.
okay. Okay.
Mogwise. That's what
Misunderstood me. It came
All
out during
right.
Christmas. It's a good movie. It came out during Christmas.
Oh
It's
my God.
Lucius and TJ, you need to watch Love Actually. Do it with your wives. You will thank me for it. It's a fantastic film.
Okay. TJ
I
said
love
that.
it. I love it. So I have to share this with you before. No, I'm gonna do rapid fire, then we'll share Mr. Steele's comment.
Didn't you have one more question you said you were skipping and was going to come to later?
Oh, that was it.
Okay, we're good.
Hey. Get out of Big League's business.
Right?
dog.
I know. You hired me to do my job. Don't mansplain me.
A thousand apologies. Did you just say don't mansplain?
Yes.
Hey. Boom.
It's
Right?
turning into the post-show activity.
I
Go
know,
on
right?
with it.
I
Go
know.
on with it,
Yep.
too.
Okay.
Come on, Chief.
So-
Come on, Chief.
Mr. Miyagi, this bad boy. Here we go, Lucius. All right. Woosah, here we go. Candy canes, peppermint or fruity flavored?
Peppermint. Really? Come on.
They're fake, I
They-
know. They're,
They didn't even have fruity flavor when he was a kid.
Hey. Not fair.
All the old shots have
No,
come
honest.
from Lamar today.
Exactly,
Not one
exactly.
has come from me.
And Clyde, I appreciate you being nice to me tonight, but this
Hey.
dude off the chain.
Captain Petty. They didn't have it when I was a kid either.
Too
That
late.
wasn't even a shot. It was a
Make
fact.
it- Chew. Okay, I'm on the
Okay,
hot seat. It's
I
time for
know.
you to be
It's
quiet.
pew, pew, pew. Present opening, Christmas Eve or Christmas morning?
Both.
Oh,
Knew that was coming.
okay.
Oh no, see. So in my house, you get one.
One.
Yeah, you get one, and then on Christmas Eve, and then the rest the next morning. So what you do is you put them all out, and you say, okay, which one do you want? Then it entices them. So yeah, one.
Got it.
And then they
Okay.
You know what we call that, Lamar? First world problems.
Y'all don't do
I
that?
mean,
Because even in the clearly second or third world household that I live in, we get one on Christmas Eve.
nope. See,
It was just
So
so
I thought
easy.
you. I thought you. See, first of all, I thought I was on the hot seat, and
My bad.
Now
bad,
you're
my
being
bad.
petty, but that's okay.
okay. Finish this sentence. Finish this line.
Okay.
I'm in the building.
Come on.
I'm lost.
Nah, boo, nah, no one believes you. You know, we know.
I don't know.
You know.
I don't know.
Go
I'm just in
ahead.
the building.
Gentlemen, help him out.
He know
And
the answer.
Come on.
I don't
and
know the
I'm-
answer. Huh?
And I'm feeling.
Oh, and I'm feeling it. Oh, that.
Yo,
Oh,
what are you doing?
Feeling myself.
Y'all, why y'all letting him mess with y'all? He know the song by now. He know it. Don't let that.
Oh
man-
my
I'm in the
goodness.
building and I'm feeling myself. Okay.
There
we
you go.
go.
There we go.
There you go.
But I really
Okay.
I had no clue what you were talking about.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm not sure how Mr. Sensitive Stomach goes with this one, but we'll see. Sweet potato pie or pecan pie?
Ooh, you see that you're getting me in trouble because the answer is sweet potato, but my wife's gonna make pecan pie, so I better eat some of that too.
You better eat it. That's what it counts.
Exactly, yeah.
If you're walking around on any day that ends in Y, are you wearing hoop shoes or running shoes?
Running.
Got it. Patty or Aretha?
Ooh.
No, hey, no, ooh, Aretha, done.
Ooh. Good
I
shot.
mean,
I like
it's
that.
a little bit of a new, but Aretha, done. I mean, I like
Okay.
Patty. Don't get me wrong. You know, we get the bird going on stuff, but it's Aretha.
Just don't eat her pies.
Hey, look, you can't go wrong with the queen. You can't. It's impossible.
Okay.
I was about to sing again.
Nope.
Please
don't do
don't.
it.
Hey, but I can put it like this. In classic Lamar style, put some respect on that woman's name.
At your senior prom, what color was your tux or your suit? What you want.
Woo, Lord.
And did it have ruffles?
I wasn't
First
gonna
of
go
all,
there, but yeah.
Okay, so since you want to be that guy, it was brown, and it was, you know, I was still my friend that I took to the prom told me what color to get, and I made sure that when I went to get my tux, I made sure to make sure I didn't get anything like the other guys that were around me, my friends, because we were not going to look like the Temptations walking up in there, buddy. That wasn't gonna happen. We're not going to see the singing group, so you're not getting the same tux as me. We're not doing that. So yeah, because
So
hey,
you
look,
went with
like,
the brown.
so I was definitely in the building, and I was feeling myself.
For all you really young people out there, the Temptations was a musical group in the 60s and the 70s.
All right,
Google it.
You're
Oh my goodness. Oh my
And
goodness.
for those of
Okay.
you unaffiliated with the private jokes that's going on right now, we introduced Lucius to Mac Dre of West Coast lore, and the song is "I'm Feeling Myself."
Love it. Love it. Well, you survived. Thank you for surviving another week in the right order.
Yeah.
So, before we start our heartbeat props, I have to announce the one that Mr. Steele had given us for, I guess I'm going to call it, and I'm speaking for you, sir. We are his heartbeat props because, and I quote, seriously, November 30th, 2017 was the last day of my coaching career. It breaks my heart knowing I'll never coach again. But every Friday, I get to feel connected to the profession again because of you four. Thank you. It means everything to me. So, thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Steele.
we could wrap it right there.
I know. I'm like about to cry already.
Yeah. We're going to be good with that. You know, I want to say this in reference to that, Dan. I think that, you know, what you said there, the four of us have come together, and we were already friends and close, but we are more of a family now than we've ever been. And to be able to share these Wednesdays or Sundays, whenever we record the show, for the last 37 weeks has been amazing. I think it helped us all get through this absolutely crazy 2020 that we've experienced, and you know, we've been through a lot, but we got through it together. And 2021, come on, dog. Come on.
Give us a fighting chance.
Yes, please.
So we will end it on those as the heartbeat props for the four of us, because I think that shot us all right there. That got us.
Absolutely. And Dan, I want to say that makes up for you getting Lamar to sing tonight. So that washes over that for sure.
Hey, it's a live show. They came for the entertainment.
No, not that entertainment.
Oh,
So,
Lord.
If we wanted to hear that, we go out back and kick the dog, man. Come on.
Oh,
I mean,
Nope.
you know,
nope.
it is what it is.
Oh my goodness. Well, in record timing, we spent just about just over an hour and 30 minutes together. Per usual, just about on time. I sincerely appreciate all of you who have stuck through the hour and a half, honestly, because you didn't get to press fast forward, pause, or anything. So thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We love you all for who you are, what you are, and who you bring to the table to make us better every week. Honestly, you all are awesome. I will say we did have a request for our Christmas show. Mrs. Huffins asked us to wear ugly sweaters. So gentlemen, start doing your job and find an ugly sweater next week for next week.
Oh, let's do it.
Yes.
Hey, I will contact Angela Holloway as soon as we get off, because that's her specialty. I will have an ugly sweater. I promise you that.
So it's happening.
Yes. Oh, it's happening.
It's happening.
Thank you, Tamika. Appreciate it.
I think we should do our next live show on the 50th.
Next live show on the 50th. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I
gotta break the calendar out.
Yeah.
Wrap it up too.
I know.
Yeah.
So
See,
without further ado, thank you so much for your time. We will see you next week. And yes, we are going to have Thanksgiving, way off. Christmas show for you all to enjoy, just in case you want to avoid your family. So otherwise, have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with us. And we will talk to you all soon. Good night, y'all.
good night, everybody.
Good night.